it going, guys? Welcome back to another All-Terrain Trails episode. Today's episode is going to look a little bit different than usual. As you can see, we're not out on the trails today. I'm at home in the garage and I'm working on the Troopy. So this will be the first episode in a series that we'll be creating on how we're going to outfit this Troopy for long-term vehicle-based travel. But as you can see here, it didn't exactly come ready to use. There's nothing in the back, it's pretty bare bones basic, and it's just not ready to travel yet. We've done a few things to it maintenance-wise, but we still have a big build to do in the interior just to make it more livable, right? So, over the next few episodes, we are going to take you guys with us as we outfit the inside of this thing to suit our needs while we will be on the road. The very first place we want to explore is our own backyard here in the country of Canada. We mostly spend a lot of our time in Alberta and British Columbia, but there's just so much more in central Canada and on the eastern coast that we're just dying to see. So that's kind of our first plan, is to get this thing ready to go and head across Canada, head east across Canada. As for time frame for that trip across Canada, we're looking at summer 2023. So right now it's August 2022, and that's right, so next summer we're planning on doing our cross Canada trip. Where does that leave us with this current series, with the Troopy build? First, we're going to do it in stages, in sections. The first stage will be the floor. We're going to build from the floor of the vehicle up. Now, we've also done quite a lot of maintenance on the vehicle. I'll show you guys a little bit of that too. I'll kind of mix it in here and there, but mostly this will be an interior build out on the Troopy, and the first stage will be, like I said, doing the floor. So there's a little bit of rust in the floor that we need to take care of. We're going to recoat it with paint. We're going to fix the rust. We're going to recoat it with paint. We're going to use special materials to insulate against heat and cold, so temperature insulation. I'm going to get into detail on that. We need to insulate against noise and vibration because this thing is basically a tin can rattling down the road. And second stage will probably be something along the lines of fitting cabinetry, batteries, water tanks, all that kind of stuff. So lots to do. It'll be several phases of our build out, so let's get into it. As you can see here, this is the worst part of the rust and the pitting. There were some big holes in these areas here. There's a big one right there. I'm going to just cut out that entire piece and weld a plate in place there. I've tried to do my best at filling as many holes as I could, so I didn't have to cut, because it would have been extremely hard to recreate these humps here. I can weld a flat patch, but I don't know if I could create something like this. So I'm just doing my best to fill the holes with weld, and then I'm going to grind them back, and hopefully that'll be watertight. But they're kind of everywhere, as you can see. There's one I haven't done quite yet. There's some here and there, just little pinholes that I don't want to have let water in when we have our floor down. There's a hole that I filled. So my job now is to grind back these welds, create a few more patches here, and then start on the paint, guys. It's gonna be exciting. We've been filling other pinholes like this one here with some weld. There's another one here that we've been filling. I've probably filled about 10 to 15 of those pin-sized holes throughout the vehicle. So unfortunately, it is common with these old Toyotas. Doesn't matter what it is, if it's an old pickup, an old Land Cruiser, an old 4Runner. It really doesn't matter what it is, but the 90s to the mid 2000s, Toyota trucks and SUVs and probably even cars all struggled with rust, as I'm sure many of you know. If you have to put up with rust yourself on your own vehicle, it's not fun. You just do the best. You either put up with it and you fix it, or you just have to live with it. So I'm doing my best to fix it on this old Troopy, and it is disappointing in some ways, but you know, it gives me a project, it gives me something to do, and overall the Troopy's in pretty good shape otherwise. There's a few spots here and there that kind of bother me a bit, but you know, it's not perfect. It's 25 years old now, so I have to expect some things. But yeah, like I said, it is common on these, especially like in the floor pan and the footwell, where that water and dirt can just sit and collect there year after year after year without being dried out properly after each use. It's a recipe for rust, so gotta take care of it. Alright guys, so you saw me just grinding some of these welds down now. They're actually turning out pretty good. They were pretty lumpy on the surface, but my plan was to take this grinder here and grind them down. We got rid of most of it. Now what we're going to come in with next is this other type of grinding tool to get the rest of it down, hopefully as smooth as possible. I've got the same kind of thing going on the passenger side of the vehicle here, and same sort of deal, just filling in these holes here. Already started filling in a few of the holes there with some weld. Got a few more to go. Hey guys, so it's a new day here at the shop in my garage, working on the Troopy still. I've come quite a ways with the floor. I got pretty much all the patchwork done that I'm going to do for now, and this morning I was just working on grinding all those welds back and prepping for paint. I'm going to get started on sealing some of the metal joints back together. When I took the wire wheel to the back of the Troopy here, to the floor, it ground off some of the old sealant that went around the edge. So now I'm going to put this stuff called Sikaflex 221, and it's a multi-purpose polyurethane sealant. And basically it's weather resistant, it's corrosion resistant, and it just seals the edges and the joints of lots of different materials. We're going to be using it on metal today, but we're going to get everything sealed up and then we'll go from there. Probably, hopefully paint after that. So come on, I'll show you what we're doing. I'm not as tidy as I would have hoped with this caulking gun. But I'll get it cleaned up. I think what I'm going to plan to do is, it's a bit messy here right now. I just laid too much down and then I had too much material, so I had to spread it out with my finger, and it's not as neat as I would like. So I think I'm going to let it dry and then take a razor blade and score it and then strip it back. I just finished grinding and welding and cleaning and sweeping the floor here of the Troopy. And it's finally prepped and ready to go for some paint products. So the first step, we have all of our products here from POR 15, which is awesome. They're not sponsoring this video or anything, but I just wanted to give them a little shout out because they make some awesome stuff. So we have our different steps in the paint process here. We have our cleaner and degreaser, which goes on first. Then we have our metal prep, which etches the metal. And then third, we have our original OG POR 15, really thick black stuff if you guys have ever used this stuff before. So that goes on third. And then our last step is going to be this rubberized undercoating, which is going to be the top layer in this process. And basically it says here, tough, heavy-duty rubber barrier, protects against salt, chemicals, and the most important thing that I'm looking forward to is the sound barrier and vibration reducer. So it acts as an insulator against vibrations and other noises coming up through the floor here. We're gonna get going on this and start with our first step, which is the cleaner degreaser step. The directions say to mix 4 parts water, 4 parts hot water, and 1 part degreaser. So I got my bucket here and I got my scrubber, and we're gonna start scrubbing the floor of the Troopy. Ready for round 2, which is going to be the metal preparation. So I'm just going to pour it directly on the metal here, scrub it in, and let it sit for about 20 minutes.
So we're just trying to figure out how to use Bondo. We've never used it before. It's a work in progress. Okay, so my understanding of the Bondo is that's the Bondo there. And then you need to use something to scoop it out onto a non-porous palette. And you need to apply a liquid hardener. You put a few drops onto the Bondo and you mix it all together. And you apply it into the holes. And then you wait for it to dry and you sand it off. So the problem that I'm having is that the Bondo seems to be taking a long time to dry. So these spots I applied maybe 45 minutes ago, and I tried to sand this one to get the excess off, and the whole thing just kind of came up. So I'm not sure if I'm not applying enough liquid hardener or if I just need to be more patient. So we're trying a couple different things. Maybe a little more, since it's taking so long to harden. Mix it in. Ooh, it's starting to thicken up already. This must be better. Let's give it a go. So already this consistency seems to be coming a lot firmer, faster. The instructions say to use it within 10 minutes because it'll harden, so we'll see.
First time I used POR 15, I opened the can the wrong way. I just took a screwdriver and started prying around the edges. Apparently you're not supposed to do that, and you can actually damage the can, and you won't be able to reuse it. So take a screwdriver, hammer, and just punch and create a hole you can pour out of, right? And then when you're done for the day and you have a little bit left that you want to reuse for tomorrow, you just take a screw, clean screw, and you screw it in and seal up your little hole that you made. So the time has finally come to add our top layer, our final coat of paint. We're going to be using this POR 15 rubberized undercoating. I bought 8 cans of this stuff. Hopefully it'll be enough. So let's get spraying. now we're gonna get to paint the floor pan, the footwells, right? And I've decided to go with a different product for the footwells. If you remember, in the back, I used POR 15, and that went on the floor in the back, in the cargo area. What I'm gonna use in the footwells up here, I'm gonna kind of do a product comparison, is Rust Bullet. And these two companies are direct competitors with each other. They have a couple different compounds in them that each make them supposedly better. We're gonna see, you know, 2-3 years down the line, maybe not even that long, we're gonna just always be monitoring to see if any rust spots come back and what product the rust is coming through, right? So I got my brushes, I've already masked off the inside here. Let's get painting. I got an exciting package from Australia today. If you guys have heard of the company Car Builders, they do sound deadening and thermal insulation materials for vehicles, and they do some really nice stuff for the Troopy. So I went ahead and ordered some stuff from them. I didn't order their Troopy package. I went through their website and selected each individual product that I wanted. And I'm super excited. I think I got some really good stuff. So let's dive in. I'll show you what I got here. This stuff here is called carpet underlay, and it's this thick sort of foam material that they say it's called a closed cell foam. And what that means is it's waterproof, which is great for places in the Troopy. We don't want water collecting like the footwells. So picture yourself getting in with muddy, wet boots, right? And then that water has nowhere to go, and usually typically it would just absorb into your carpets and then down into the metal and cause rust, right? So we don't want that. The other thing this is going to do is protect against those harsh vibrations and noise coming through the floor. It's right by the transmission tunnel, lots of noise, lots of heat. It's going to protect against temperature and noise, and it's waterproof. This stuff, I'm just so excited to put this stuff down. A few more boxes here from Car Builders as well with more insulation material. This one's freaking heavy. Not this one. This one's super light. But this one's heavy. I don't know. I'm interested to see what's in here because I don't remember ordering anything so what should be this heavy. Oh. Comes in a thin box like that. Looks like there's two. Two of these, my God, they're heavy. Jeez. Get rid of that. Oh, God. Like, I'm not even being that dramatic. These are heavy. Okay, I'm being a little dramatic. Ooh, this is the good stuff. Nice. Not what I was expecting. Not the material I was expecting, to be honest. It's stiff. It's stiffer than I thought. I thought it was going to be more pliable, but it looks, I thought it was going to be more like carpet. You know, it's kind of floppy like carpet, but this is like a stiff board that you can fold and shape, I guess, to the grooves and indents of your vehicle. But it comes in these sheets, and you peel off the back, and there's that sticky material. And this is the sound deadening material. So this is going to make it sound like a luxury Lexus. I swear to God, I hope. That's the hope. And the last box we got. Let's take a look at what's in here. So this last box here, oh, that feels really nice stuff. Really interesting material. So this stuff is called the Insulator. And I got this for the inside walls. We have everything for the floor of the Troopy. I'm also going to insulate the walls and the inside of the doors, I think. If I measured correctly, we should have enough material. But this stuff is called the insulator, and it's sound and heat insulation. So those are the two big things you want to insulate against, right? I think we should be covered. Now we have a few more steps for insulation that I'm super excited about. I just love this stuff, guys. I love planning and learning about these materials and how I can make this thing into basically a tiny home. It's really exciting, but this will definitely keep me busy for a little while, I think. All right, guys, we are laying down some of this sound deadening material now. Comes in these sheets like this, like I showed you earlier. It's a little chilly out here, so we got a couple space heaters going in the garage. I just gonna hold the sheet up to the space heater for a few seconds, make sure the glue is nice and warm, and then take this roller here and just roll the material down onto the floor. It's kind of cool. Now it's time to put in the new rubber floor mats that go over top of everything and kind of give everything a finishing layer and a finishing layer of protection. So I ordered these rubber floor mats from a company called Troopy out of Australia, and they look like really, really good quality, better quality than the original mats. However, the only thing that I'm a little worried about is they're not cut. So I'll show you in a minute here, but basically what that means is the holes where the transmission stick and the low range shifter stick, where the seat belts go, like all these holes that need to come through that rubber mat are not cut yet. So I have to go in with a blade and cut that so it slides in nicely into the footwells there. So I'm a little worried. To be honest, I wish they would have just put in like the little bit of extra effort to pre-cut those, just so you don't make the customer do it. But hey, you know what? They're good quality, and hopefully they'll be a good addition to the Troopy. So let's see if I can cut them and not screw them up. So what I've done here is just lay the old mat over top of the new mat. That way I can see where the holes are and approximately whereabout I would need to be cutting. The install on this mat here is very frustrating, to be honest. It's not easy. The material is so brittle and stiff that it doesn't make it easy to like bend it in the... There's a lot of like nooks and crevices getting it under the pedals, getting it around the shifters. Like you have to move it around, and we've cut it the best we can, and now we're trying to fit it in, and it's just so difficult to work with. I just can't believe it's not pre-cut. Guys, I'm so psyched right now. I think I did it. I think I really did it. I finished installing the TrueFit floor mats. To be honest, it was one of the more difficult things I've done on the Troopy, trying to get it fitted up properly in the footwells, in the pedals, around the shifters, around the seat post, everything. It took some maneuvering, and it took a lot of will, but I got it done. And you know what? It actually looks pretty good, and I'm very, very happy with the result. All right, it's finally time to put the seats back in. We're coming to the end of this project here. Let's get these seats back in. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you enjoy our content, please consider subscribing and checking us out on Patreon for some awesome membership benefits. We'll see you in the next episode. Holy crap! I think it's done.